Hello, and welcome to Ancient Tale Weaver. We have talked about the Great Wars, the Titanomachy, the Trojan War. We have talked about the heroes who fought them, but I find that the most compelling stories are not about the war itself, but about the aftermath. What happens when the heroes go home? What happens when the cheering stops and the long, hard journey back begins? Of all the stories of the journey home, one is the greatest ever told, the story of the Odyssey. It's a story of a 10-year war, followed by a 10-year journey home. It's a story of monsters, of witches, of angry gods, and of a man who was forced to use his mind rather than his muscle to survive. This is the story of Odysseus, the king of Ithaca, a man so clever he tricked the world, and a man so arrogant he doomed himself to wander the sea, his name cursed by a god. The Iliad was the story of Achilles, the story of Bia, or brute force. The Odyssey is the story of Odysseus, the story of Metis, or cunning intelligence. I think this is what makes him so modern. He wasn't the strongest, or the fastest. He was the smartest. He was the ultimate problem solver. He was the man who had the brilliant, devious idea to build the Trojan Horse, and in doing so, he won the Trojan War. But his story, his real story, begins at the exact moment of his greatest triumph. The Trojan horse worked. The Greeks were in the city, but victory makes men arrogant. It makes them cruel. And in the sack of Troy, the Greeks committed horrible war crimes. They slaughtered King Priam at a sacred altar. They threw Hector's infant son from the walls. And worst of all, a Greek hero named Ajax the Lesser dragged the Trojan prophetess, Cassandra, from the temple of Athena and assaulted her while she clung to the goddess's statue. The gods were furious, not just at Ajax, but at the entire Greek army, including Odysseus, for allowing this sacrilege. Athena, once their protector, became their tormentor. She and Poseidon swore an oath the Greeks would not have an easy journey home, and so it began. Odysseus, with his 12 ships, his Ithacan contingent, set sail, his heart full of pride, his ships full of Trojan treasure. Their first stop was the land of the Sirens, and here, I think, we see the crew's first great flaw, greed. They were still in war mode. They sacked the city, killed the men, and took the women. Odysseus, the clever leader, said, "We have enough, let's go." But his men, drunk on wine and victory, refused. They feasted on the beach, and that was their mistake. The Sirens rallied. Their inland neighbours, a fierce warrior tribe, came to their aid. At dawn, a massive army attacked the beach. Odysseus and his men were routed. They fought a bloody retreat and barely escaped. But they lost 6 men from every ship. They set sail, their hearts heavy, their pride wounded, and then Poseidon struck. He sent a storm so vast, so violent, that it blew them off the map. For 9 days, they were driven by the wind, lost in an unknown sea. They had lost their way, they had lost their chance. They had left the world of men and entered the world of myth. Their first stop in this new, magical world was the land of the Lotus-Eaters. The threat here wasn't violence, it was apathy. The natives were gentle, peaceful people. They offered Odysseus's scouts their most precious food, the lotus flower, and the moment the men ate it, their journey was over. They were overcome with a blissful, narcotic amnesia. They forgot their wives, they forgot their children in Ithaca, they forgot the Trojan War, they forgot home. All they wanted was to stay, forever, and eat the flower. Odysseus saw this, and I find this is his first true test of leadership. He couldn't fight this enemy, he had to save his men from themselves. He forcibly dragged his drugged crewmen back to the ship, tied them to the benches, and ordered the others to row, fast, before they all forgot what they were fighting for. They sailed on, and came to a new land, an island, lush and green, uninhabited, right next to another darker island. From this island, they could hear the bleating of giant sheep. They could see smoke from a massive cave. This was the land of the Cyclopes, a race of arrogant, one-eyed shepherd giants who knew no law and feared no gods. And Odysseus, the man whose defining trait is metis, cunning, makes his first great foolish mistake. He is overcome by curiosity. He has to know what's in that cave. He takes his 12 best men and a skin of his strongest, most potent wine as a gift. He leaves his ship and climbs to the cave. It's enormous. The home of a giant. The giant isn't there. His men, terrified, beg him, "Let's just steal some cheese and go." But Odysseus refuses. "No," he says, "I want to see him. I want to see what guest gifts he will give us." This is hubris, and it's the decision that will seal his fate. The giant, Polyphemus, a son of Poseidon. He returns. He drives his massive flock of sheep into the cave, and then he rolls a stone across the entrance. A stone so large, 20 teams of oxen couldn't move it. They were trapped. The giant lights his fire. He sees the tiny Greeks. "Who are you?" he bellows. Odysseus, the diplomat, steps forward. "We are Greeks, blown off course. We are your guests. We beg for hospitality in the name of Zeus, the protector of all guests." Polyphemus laughs. A terrible, booming sound. "Zeus? I am a Cyclops. We do not fear your gods. We are stronger." He proved it. He reached out his massive hand, grabbed 2 of Odysseus's men, smashed their heads against the floor like puppies, and ate them. Raw. Odysseus was frozen in horror. This was not a man. This was a monster. He drew his sword, intending to kill the giant as he slept, but he stopped. His metis, his cunning, kicked in. If he killed the giant, who would move the stone? They would all die in this cave anyway. This was not a problem of strength. It was a problem of escape. He had to blind him. He found the giant's club, a massive log of green olive wood. He and his men sharpened the tip and hardened it in the fire. They hid it. The next night, the giant ate 2 more men. Odysseus waited. "Cyclops," he said, stepping forward, "you have had your meal. Now, have a drink. I have brought you a gift." The wine of the gods, Polyphemus, who had only ever drunk milk, grabbed the skin and drank deep. He loved it. "More?" he roared. Odysseus gave him more. The giant began to get drunk, his one eye drooping. "This is good," he slurred. "What is your name, little Greek?" And this is the moment of pure genius. Odysseus's mind was racing. He needed a name that was also a weapon. "Cyclops," he said. "My name is Outis. My name is No Man," the giant laughed. "Good, No Man. Then my gift to you is that I will eat you last." Polyphemus, drunk, then collapsed and passed out. "Now," Odysseus whispered. He and his men heated the great steak in the fire until it was a glowing red-hot point. They lifted it, aimed, and drove it, with all their combined weight, deep into the giant's single, sleeping eye. The scream was not human. It was the sound of a mountain breaking. Polyphemus roared, ripping the smouldering steak from his head, the eyeball sizzling on the tip. He was blind. He thrashed, screaming, hunting for them in the dark, but they hid. He rolled back the stone, screaming for his brothers. The other Cyclopes ran to the cave. "Polyphemus, what is it? Who is hurting you? Is it a trick?" And Polyphemus roared the line, "No man is hurting me. No man is killing me by treachery." The Cyclopes on the hill stopped. "What? If no man is hurting you, then it must be a plague from the gods. Pray, brother." And they just left. The trick had worked. But they were still trapped. The giant, blinded but clever, sat in the doorway, his arms spread wide. He can't see us, Odysseus thought, but he can feel us. He waited. At dawn, the sheep needed to go out to pasture. The giant, groaning, let them pass. But he felt the back of every single sheep to make sure no man was riding it. Odysseus had his final, brilliant idea. He lashed his men under the bellies of the giant, shaggy rams, 3 at a time, and he took the largest, thickest ram, the leader of the flock, and clung to the wool of its belly. The giant's hands passed over the ram's back. He stopped. He recognized this ram. "My sweet ram," Polyphemus moaned, his voice now soft and full of sorrow. You are usually the first to run to the pasture. Why are you last today? Are you grieving for your master? Grieving for the eye that this, no man, has stolen?" Odysseus, clinging underneath, his heart frozen, felt the giant's tears fall on the ram's wool. It's an incredible moment. For a second, the monster is human. But the moment passed, the giant slapped the ram's back. Go, and I wish you could tell me where he is." And the ram walked out. Odysseus was free. He freed his men. They scrambled to the ship. They rowed. They were safe. They were out of range. The quest was saved. The story should have ended there. But then, Odysseus, the clever man, the man of Metis, does the stupidest thing in his entire life. He is overcome by hubris. He cannot stand that the monster doesn't know who beat him. He cups his hand and he taunts the giant. "Cyclops, your guest gift was unpleasant." Polyphemus, hearing his voice, ripped the top off a mountain and threw it. It landed just in front of the ship, the wave nearly sinking them. His men begged him, "Stop, my king! For God's sake, be silent." But Odysseus was too arrogant. He had to have the last word. "Cyclops," he roared, "if anyone asks who blinded you, tell them it was not Noman. Tell them it was Odysseus, sacker of cities, son of Laertes, from Ithaca." He had given him his name, his father's name, his address, everything. Polyphemus, hearing the name, turned his ruined face to the sky, and he prayed. "Father," he roared, "Father Poseidon, hear me! A mortal, a man named Odysseus, has blinded me. Curse him!" The prayer was specific. "I pray, let him never reach his home. But if it is his fate, let him come home late, in misery, all his companions lost, on a stranger's ship, and let him find a world of pain in his own house." And deep in the ocean, Poseidon heard, his son had been mutilated, and he now had the name of the man who had done it. On the ship, Odysseus's blood ran cold. He felt the sea change. He felt the wind turn against him. He had just escaped death by making an enemy of the sea itself. His journey, his Odyssey, had just truly begun, and the full, terrible weight of that curse would be felt at his very next stop. After the horror of the Cyclops, Odysseus's luck seemed to turn. They sailed to the floating island of Aeolia, home of Aeolus, the god-king of the winds. Aeolus feasted them for a month, and, loving Odysseus's stories, he agreed to help him. He captured all the chaotic storm winds, the north, the east, the south, and he bound them tight in a single silver oxhide bag. He left only one wind free, the gentle west wind, Zephyr, to blow them straight home. "Do not open this bag," he warned. "It contains a storm." For 9 days and 9 nights, they sailed, the west wind pushing them perfectly. Odysseus, the captain, did not sleep. He held the tiller himself. On the 10th day, he saw it. The shores of Ithaca. Home. His men were cheering they could see their own houses. And Odysseus, his job done, finally collapsed from exhaustion just for a moment. and his crew looked at him. They looked at the heavy silver bag. "He is asleep," they whispered. "What's in it? Gold? Treasure from the king? He's going to keep it all for himself." Driven by that same greed that doomed them with the Cicones, they untied the knot. In an instant, a hurricane, a nightmare of all the winds at once, exploded from the bag. The winds, furious at being imprisoned, created a storm that spun the ships around, and in one terrible, howling blast blew them all the way back to Aeolus' island. Odysseus woke up, saw what they had done, and his heart broke. He went alone and begged the wind god for help one more time, but Aeolus' face was cold. "You," the god snarled, "you are the most cursed man alive. The gods hate you. Get off my island. You will have no more help from me." Dejected, they rowed on aimlessly for 6 days. They found a new land, the land of the Laestrygonians, a beautiful, calm, perfect harbour. Too perfect. 11 of his ships, happy to be in a safe port, sailed deep inside. Odysseus, his instincts kicking in, felt a cold dread. He moored his ship, the 12th, outside the harbour, just in case. It was the decision that saved him. This was a land of giants, cannibal giants. The giants, seeing the trapped ships, ran to the cliffs. They didn't use arrows. They used boulders. They began hurling mountains at the fleet. The ships were smashed to kindling. The men were speared like fish and eaten. In minutes, 11 of his 12 ships were gone. All 500 men dead. Odysseus, watching from the mouth of the harbour, screamed in horror. He drew his sword, cut his anchor rope, and roared at his own terrified crew. "Row! Row!" They rowed for their lives. His single battered ship, carrying only 45 men, escaped. His great fleet was gone. He was no longer a general. He was a refugee. Shattered, they sailed on and came to the next island, Aea, the island of the witch goddess Circe. Odysseus, now rightly paranoid, sent half his men, 22 of them, led by his kinsman Eurylochus, to scout. They found a palace in a dark, smoky clearing. Strange, atypically tame. Lions and wolves lay on the lawn, not attacking, but fawning over the men, like house pets. The men were unnerved, but from inside the palace, they heard the most beautiful sound. A woman's voice, singing as she worked her loom. They called out. The goddess Circe emerged, beautiful, welcoming. "Come in, travellers, you must be hungry." All the men, except the suspicious Eurylochus, who waited outside, went in. She sat them down. She gave them a rich feast of cheese, honey, and wine. And they, starving, ate greedily. But the food was drugged. As they finished, Circe stood up. Her smile vanished. She tapped each man with her long black wand. "Now," she hissed, "go to the sty, where you belong." And in an instant, their bodies began to twist. Their noses became snouts. Their hands became trotters. They were pigs, still with the minds of men, but the bodies of swine. Eurylochus ran back, screaming, telling Odysseus what he had seen. Odysseus was a true leader. His men were trapped. He grabbed his sword and told his crew, "I am going, alone." He marched to the palace, to his certain doom. But on the path, a young, handsome man appeared. It was the god Hermes. "You cannot win with strength, mortal," the god said. "Her magic is too strong. You need my magic." He pulled a plant from the earth. "This is moly," he said. "It is black at the root, with a white flower. It is poisonous to men, but it is an antidote to her. Eat this, and when she strikes you, charge her. As if you mean to kill her, she will be terrified. It is the only way." Odysseus ate the herb. He went to the palace. Circe welcomed him. She gave him the same drugged wine. He drank it and nothing happened. Circe, confused, struck him with her wand. "To the sty!" she shrieked, and nothing happened. Odysseus stood unharmed. Her magic had failed. He drew his sword. His face was a mask of pure, murderous rage. He charged. Circe screamed. She fell to his feet. She had met a man whose will and whose divine protector was stronger than her magic. "Spare me," she begged. "I will be your ally. I will free your men." Odysseus, the pragmatist, made her swear a great oath. She did. She freed his men, turning them back from pigs. And she was a good host. A very good host. She feasted them. They bathed. They rested. And just like on the island of Lemnos, they stayed. For an entire year, Odysseus, the great hero, forgot his quest and became the lover of the witch goddess Circe. Finally, after a year, his men had to beg him, "Captain, Ithaca, your wife, your son, we must go home." Odysseus, ashamed, agreed. He went to Circe. "I must go." Circe, now a true ally, looked at him with sorrow. "I cannot let you. Your journey is cursed by Poseidon. You are lost. You have no map, and the only man who can give you one is dead." She told him the most terrifying news of all. To find his way home, he, a living man, would have to go to the underworld. He had to perform the Nekuia, the rites of the dead. He had to sail to the edge of the world, to the land of fog. There he dug a pit and made a sacrifice. And the shades, the ghosts, began to rise. They swarmed him, whispering, desperate for the blood. He was terrified, but he held them back with his sword. He was there for one man, Tiresias, the blind prophet. But first, he saw his mother, Anticlea. He wept. "Mother, when I left, you were alive." "I died," she whispered, "of a broken heart, waiting for you." Finally, the shade of Tiresias appeared. He drank the blood, and he spoke. He gave Odysseus his future. "The journey home will be all pain, Odysseus, all because you angered the god of the sea." He warned him of the trials to come, the Sirens, the monsters, and one final, terrible warning. "Whatever you do," Tiresias hissed, "when you land on the island of the sun god Helios, do not touch his cattle. If you harm them, you will survive, but you will survive alone. Your ship will be destroyed, all your men will die, and you will return home, a broken man." His prophecy given, Odysseus, his heart heavy, sailed back to Circe. She gave him one last set of warnings. The first, the Sirens, the bird women whose song was so beautiful, so seductive, that it made sailors go mad, steering their ships into the rocks to be devoured. Odysseus, the man of curiosity, had to hear it. He ordered his men to fill their ears with beeswax, so they would be deaf. But him, he ordered them to tie him to the mast. "And," he commanded, "if I beg you to untie me, you must add more ropes." They sailed. He heard the song. It was the most beautiful thing in the universe. It promised him wisdom, love, everything. He screamed. He begged. He roared for his men to free him. But they, deaf to the song, only bound him tighter. They rowed past. The song faded. Odysseus collapsed. He had survived. But the reward for surviving was the next test. The impossible choice. Circe had warned him. You must pass between two horrors. On one side, Charybdis, a living whirlpool that would swallow his entire ship whole. On the other, Scylla, a six-headed, serpent-like monster who lived in a cave in the cliff. You cannot fight her, Circe had said. You must just row. She will take 6 of your men. That is the price. A leader's choice. Lose everyone, or sacrifice 6. Odysseus, his heart breaking, made the leader's choice. He steered away from Charybdis and towards Scylla. He didn't warn his men. He couldn't. As they looked in terror at the whirlpool, she struck. 6 long, snake-like necks lashed out. 6 of his best men were plucked from the deck, screaming, and dragged into the cave. Odysseus wrote that their cries, screaming his name as they were eaten, was the most horrifying sound he had ever heard. He had sacrificed them. He had saved the ship. The cost of leadership. Traumatized, they sailed on, and they saw the next island, Thrinacia, the island of the Sunday Odysseus, was terrified. "We cannot land here," he commanded. "Tiresias warned me. This is the island of Helios. We must not touch his sacred cattle." But his men, led by Eurylochus, were at the point of mutiny. They were exhausted, starving. "Are you a god?" they snarled. "We are men. We must rest. We must eat." They forced him to land. Odysseus, in despair, made them swear a great oath. "Rest, but do not touch the cattle." They agreed. But the gods were against them. A storm blew in, and it lasted for a month. They were trapped on the island. Their food from the ship ran out. They ate fish. They ate birds. They were starving. Odysseus, seeing his men weakening, went inland to pray, and the gods made him fall asleep. While he was gone, Eurylochus made his fatal speech. "Men, will you die of starvation, or will you die at sea? Let us eat the cattle. Let us die with full bellies. What is worse than starving?" His starving men agreed. They rounded up the best of Helios' sacred cattle, and they slaughtered them. Odysseus woke to the smell of cooking meat. He ran. He saw. He was too late. The sin was committed, and the gods showed their displeasure. The skins of the dead cattle began to crawl. The meat on the spit mooed. It was a horrific omen, but the men, now downed, continued to eat. For 6 days they feasted. On the 7th day, the storm stopped. The sea was calm. Terrified, they scrambled to the ship. They set sail. They thought they had escaped. But Helios, the sun god, had gone to Zeus. "They ate my children," he cried. "Give me justice, or I will stop shining. I will go and shine in the underworld." Zeus, his face grim, agreed. "They will be punished." As soon as the ship was out of sight of land, Zeus unleashed his final storm. A black cloud gathered, and from it, a single massive thunderbolt. It struck the ship, shattering it into 1,000 pieces. The men were thrown into the sea, all of them, his entire final crew, drowned. The prophecy was fulfilled. Only Odysseus was left. He grabbed a piece of the broken mast, and he drifted. For 9 days he drifted, alone, a single speck of life in Poseidon's angry ocean. On the 10th day he washed ashore, naked, broken, starving. He had lost everything. He had washed up on the island of Ogygia, the home of the beautiful, immortal goddess, Calypso. Calypso found him. She saved him. She fell in love with him, and she kept him. This, I find, is the most tragic part of his journey. He wasn't in a cave. He wasn't fighting monsters. He was in paradise. A beautiful, immortal goddess loved him. She offered him everything. She offered him immortality. "Stay," she begged. "Be my husband, and you will never grow old. You will never die." And Odysseus refused. Every day he would walk to the beach, and he would weep. He didn't want to be a god. He wanted to go home. He wanted his mortal wife. He wanted his son. For 7 years he was her prisoner. His journey was over. He was defeated by love. Until finally, on Olympus, his protector, Athena, had had enough. She confronted Zeus. "Father, is this his fate? To be a prisoner of love? He has suffered enough. Poseidon's rage is satisfied. Let him go home." Zeus, moved by his daughter, agreed. The curse was over. He sent Hermes. Calypso, her heart broken, let him go. She helped him build a raft, and Odysseus, after 10 years of war and almost 10 years of wandering, 20 years in all, sailed for home. After one final storm from Poseidon, he washed ashore on the island of the Phaeacians. They, in their magical self-sailing ships, finally took the sleeping hero and delivered him to a quiet beach on his home island. He awoke. He was alone. He didn't recognize the land. But then Athena appeared. "Odysseus," she smiled, "you are home." He fell to his knees, and he kissed the earth. He was home. But the prophecy of Tiresias was not finished. "You will return to find a world of pain in your own house," she told him. For years, his palace had been overrun. 108 suitors, arrogant, noble-born brutes, who, believing Odysseus was dead, had come to force his wife, Penelope, to marry one of them. They were not guests. They were a plague. They were eating him out of house and home, slaughtering his cattle, drinking his wine, and abusing his servants. They were plotting to kill his son, Telemachus. Odysseus's rage was silent and cold. He was one man against 108. He could not win with strength. He had to win with metis, with cunning. "You cannot go as a king," Athena said. "You must go as a nothing." She touched him, and his skin withered, his muscles shrank, his hair fell out. She transformed the great hero into a low, filthy, pathetic, old beggar. Disguised, he entered his own home, and he saw the rot. The suitors mocked him. They abused him. Antinous, their leader, threw a stool and struck him in his own house. Odysseus took the blow. He did not retaliate. He sat in the corner, a beggar, watching, measuring his enemies. His son Telemachus, now a man, recognized him. The two of them, in secret, planned the slaughter. Penelope, his wife, at the end of her rope, proposed one final test. "I will marry," she declared, "the man who can string my husband's great bow and shoot an arrow through 12 axes." The suitors laughed. This was easy, but one by one they tried, and they failed. The bow was too strong. Not one of them could even bend it. Then the beggar spoke. "Let me try." The suitors roared with laughter. "The beggar! Give it to him." Odysseus took the bow. He held it. He felt it. His old friend. He checked the string. And then, with no effort at all, as easily as a musician strings a lyre, he strung it, and he plucked the string. It sang. The suitors stopped laughing. Their faces went white. Odysseus knocked an arrow. He did not stand. Sitting, as a beggar, he drew the string and fired. The arrow flew, thwip, straight, through all 12 axes. He had done it. He stood. He kicked the rags from his body. Athena transformed him back. The king stood before them, blazing with rage. "Your contest," he snarled, "is over. Now mine begins." He knocked his second arrow. He aimed at Antinous, the cruelest. He fired. The arrow struck the suitor in the throat just as he was drinking. He fell, dead. "Dogs!" Odysseus roared. "You thought I was dead. You devoured my house." The suitors panicked. They ran for the doors. Telemachus had locked them. They ran for their weapons. Telemachus had hidden them. It was a trap. 108 unarmed, drunk men trapped in a hall with the world's deadliest archer, his son, and the goddess of war herself. It was not a battle, it was a slaughter. Hours later, the hall was silent, the floor slick with blood, the traitors were dead. Odysseus was clean, he went to his wife. Penelope, I am home. But Penelope was clever. She was his match. She had survived for 20 years. She looked at this stranger, bloody and full of rage. It might be him, she thought, or it might be another trick. She tested him. Servant, she commanded, bring my bed out here for the king. Odysseus's calm finally broke. He exploded. What? He roared. Woman, what are you saying? Move my bed? No man can move that bed. I built it. I built this palace around the living trunk of an olive tree. I carved our bed from that trunk. It is rooted in the earth. He had revealed their greatest secret, a secret only they knew. Penelope's coldness shattered. She ran to him, weeping. Odysseus, forgive me. You are truly him. You are home. And for the first time in 20 years, the hero, the king, the wanderer, held his wife. The war, the real war, was finally over.